Hello, this is the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Thank you so much for tuning in to this video in which we will be looking at angles. We're looking at specific types of angles: complementary angles, supplementary angles, and vertically opposite angles. So this is part of a few lessons we're doing on what's called deductive geometry. So you probably have an idea of what geometry is. It's the area of maths involving shapes, angles, and all that. So we're doing deductive geometry. So the reason I'm telling you this is I want you to understand what we're going to do is we're going to deduce things. We're going to actually find the size of unknown angles without measuring them. We're going to deduce them. So we won't actually need any protractors here. So let's start by looking at complementary angles. So angles are said to be complementary if they add to 90 degrees. We might have two angles that are complementary, or four angles, five angles, or whatever that are complementary. So you know what a 90-degree angle is. It's a right angle, and it's usually marked with something like that. So this is a right angle here. So let's say I told you, for example, that this angle was 20 degrees. We could figure out the value of this angle here. You're just saying, what do I add to 20 to get to 90? Well, of course, this angle in green would have to be 70 degrees because both of these angles are complementary. This angle plus this angle add up to 90 degrees, or a right angle. So sometimes you'll see a drawing like we have on the bottom left of your screen. So what we have now are three angles that add to 90. These three angles are complementary, but you'll see one of them's given a letter X. Lucky we've already done algebra because we know that X is a pronumeral. It is standing in place of an unknown number. Now what we're going to do is we're going to try and find the value of X. What does X equal? What is the size of that angle that has been labeled X? Well, once again, we know that we have to add up to 90 degrees. So one angle is 30, another angle is 42, and then when we add this other angle X, we get 90 degrees. So 30 plus 42 is 72 degrees. So what would be the value of X? We need to say, what do I add to 72 to get 90? Of course, if you don't know what that is off the top of your head, you can just put on your calculator 90 minus 72, which is 18 degrees. So X would have to be 18 degrees so that those three angles add to 90 degrees because they are supplementary. Let's try an angle that's a little bit harder. So now we have another right angle here, and we have three angles that make it up. So these three angles are complementary. Now I've called them A, and A. It wouldn't matter what letter you use. You can use A, B, X, whatever you want. All that matters is that this is a pronumeral. It's in place of an unknown number. So these three are the same. A, and A, because they have the same letter, they are all the same size. So if this angle here was, say, 10 degrees, then this angle and this angle would be 10 degrees. So what we're looking for is what number, when you add it up itself 3 times, gives you 90. So we know that A plus A is just 3A from our algebra topic. So we're saying, what number do you times by 3 to get 90? You probably know off the top of your head. If you didn't, you just do the opposite. Instead of timesing by 3, you divide by 3. 90 over 3, and A is 30 degrees. A is 30 degrees because 30 plus 30 plus 30 is equal to 90. All right, let's now have a look at supplementary angles. So supplementary angles add to 180 degrees. So complementary add to 90, supplementary add to 180 degrees. So what is 180 degrees? Well, we know that if I have something like this, they're at right angles, 90 degrees. But I could make another angle here that is 90 degrees. These two angles are supplementary. They add to 180 degrees. Notice that's a straight line. The angle in a straight line is 180 degrees. So supplementary angles basically make up a straight line. Let's look at an example. So here we have two angles that make up a straight line. these two angles must be supplementary. They must add to 180 degrees. So y is a pronumeral. It's standing for an unknown number. So that angle, when I add it to 127, gives me 180 degrees. So you say, how much do I need to get from 127 to 180? Of course, if you don't know off the top of your head, you just do 180 minus 127. Y would be 53 degrees, because 53 plus 127 makes up 180, or a straight line. So let's look at this example here. Now we have three angles that are supplementary. This angle plus this angle plus this angle add to 180. So the first angle is x. The second angle here is 90 degrees because it's marked by this. And then when we add those two to this angle, we get 180 degrees. So when we're writing this out, we don't need to use the degrees because that probably takes up a bit too much time. We can just write it like this. So 90 plus 45 is 135. What do I add to 135 to get 180? Again, if you don't know, just do 180 minus 135 and you get 45 degrees. So that angle marked X is 45 degrees. So you don't need to put the degree sign in your working out here, but your final answer needs to have the degree sign. So we know that angles in a straight line add up to 180 degrees. So if I have something like this angle and this angle add to 180 plus 180, which is 360. So an application of supplementary angles is that angles at a point add to 360. What I mean by this, if I make a point here and I just draw some random angles like this, all of these angles will add to 360. Why? Because it's two straight lines. I could draw a straight line here and I have 180 plus 180. So that allows me to find unknown angles, not just using supplementary and complementary angles. So if I rub that out, let's say that this angle here is 140 degrees and this is 125 degrees, and I call this X. Now, there are no complementary or supplementary angles here, but I can still figure out X really easily because X plus 140 plus 125 is equal to 360. So 140 plus 125 is 265. So what do I add to 265 to get 360? Of course, I just do 360 minus 265, and X is 95 degrees. So it's more than 90. In this case, all three of those angles are obtuse. So supplementary angles can help you find unknown angles in a straight line, but they can also be used to find angles at a point which add to 360 degrees. So that was the second type. Now we're going to look at the third type, which is vertically opposite angles, which actually is an application of supplementary angles. So please pause and copy down if you need. So vertically opposite angles will turn out to be equal. What exactly are they? Well, let's look at something like this. Let's say I have a little cross there. So let's say this angle here is 80 degrees. It doesn't matter if it's not drawn to scale. So I know that because this angle and this angle here are supplementary, they add to 180. So if the first angle's 80, the other one must be 100. Easy as. But hang on a minute. I also know that this angle and the green angle are supplementary. They add to 180. So that means if the first angle is 100, this angle here must be 80 degrees. And once again, we have more supplementary angles. This angle here plus this angle here, they are supplementary. They form one big 180 degree angle here. So then this one must be 100 degrees. So you can see the angles are in pairs. These two angles are equal. This angle and this angle are equal. So we call these vertically opposite. This angle here and this angle here are vertically opposite. This angle and this angle are vertically opposite. So vertical means like standing up. Opposite means facing each other. So they're sort of facing each other through straight lines. So let's look at some examples. So let's look at this example here. I know that X and 40 degrees are equal. because this angle must be 140, this angle must be 140 as well. I didn't really need that, but I just wanted to show you. So then what do you add to 140 to get 180? Because these are supplementary, of course it's 40. X is 40 degrees. These two angles are equal because they are vertically opposite. So let's look at this example here. Now we're actually finding the value of two angles. We're actually looking at two pronumerals. So X, this one here, is vertically opposite this angle here. So X would be 150 degrees, and of course Y is opposite this one here. It would be 30 degrees, okay? And then we're done. So vertically opposite angles are facing each other. They are equal. All right, thank you so much for tuning into this video. This has been the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Have a great day.